Skorak, what are our characters doing right now?
Ah, yes, what are your characters doing right now? So your characters just got done killing each other. Your characters didn't kill each other, partially because of everyone's valiant efforts, whether...
And Cleveland.
And Cleveland, yes. The new
the state of
mysterious
Cleveland
character that appeared yesterday and then just left. So, given their emotions and everything else around kinda high, last time, everyone has kind of gathered in one of the non-destroyed rooms of the mansion that, doesn't belong to Katse anymore because the government seized it. They are not alone at this particular moment. They are very much with other people in a room doing their best, law sitting down impression. With the fucking intertwined fingers, with...
Yeah. Everybody kind of is annoyed and shit. Kelkaira is angry at Echo because Echo used his guns. Echo told Kelkaira to go fuck himself. Katse is just depressed as fuck. Semblance was very angry at Echo. She shouted at him and grabbed him by the collar. And Herbert was like, yeah, let's settle our differences. He put a chair in the middle. Let's all have a therapy session together. We all talk about where we are from, who we are, what motivates us.
You guys are, you found one of the less, shaken up sort of sleeping bedrooms that still has all of the walls intact. You're surrounded by opulent Victorian-style decorations, some of which have been, thoroughly thrashed.
Is actually nobody going to take the initiative and try to say something? Because if nobody is going to end up doing anything, he's just going to walk up, take the first step.
Katse's just be looking dead.
Echo probably said. Herbert sighs, like a heavy sigh. He walks to the chair, sits down and says, well, yes, I'm going to be the first one. For starters, I think I am 20 years old. I am a wanted criminal in at least 2 countries, and my real name is not even Herbert. Any questions so far?
What is your real name?
You don't really have names. I don't really recall ever having parents or something. I just kind of lived. See, funny thing is I had multiple at parts of my life, Got adopted into a group when I was a young G, and that's where I got my first name. And then he says, my name back then was War Brand. But I have not been carrying this name for a very long time at this point, so...
What brought you here?
Quite frankly, it actually was just the fact that this Aleph guy handed this letter to me. He probably didn't really hand it to me. I just found it, right? That's how all of us essentially got to Corinia at the beginning. The reason that I actually ended up going there and following the directions of the letter is because I was running away. My family has been dead. They were sacrificed by people who didn't see them as proper people, but as pawns that need to be sacrificed for a bigger goal. I was trying to run away from the intense guilt that I was feeling at that point, from being the only person of my family essentially didn't die. I think it must have been, 12 years ago? I got adopted into a family. That's how it went. It was me, 2 more brothers, and 2 more sisters. Us against the world. A group of young, strong Sarkas warriors fighting their way through the wasteland. But it was good times. Because we had ourselves. After the Civil War ended, it really got different. We had to leave the place. Otherwise, this dickhead who won the Civil War would have fucking drafted us into an army. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be a part of an army. And we started fleeing. We just started fleeing north, trying to avoid the men of the Regent from drafting us. At some point, we encountered a patrol of the Ursus army that wanted to kill us. That day right there might have been our final day, straight up. But we were saved by a big Sarkas warrior, and that ended up being the biggest turning point of our lives. Because this big Sarkas warrior brought us to a gigantic group of people. And it was rough and tough out there, but that's not a big problem as long as people are making decisions for you. And then one day, the people making decisions for us changed. One of those decisions ended up getting my family killed. It was not even that long ago. I think, half a year at this point?
I'm sorry, that must have been difficult.
I appreciate that. But that was putting it lightly. I had nothing to live for, but I continued to. And at the end of the day, that ended up being the right decision because I met you guys. Hey. Oh, okay.
Yeah, upon hearing that, you hear someone clicking their lips. So Spike was at the door. He's now looking at you. And his revolver is not pointing at you, but drawn. So, big man. You're saying is that you were a Union.
I was with them for a couple of years, yes.
Sure don't look the part. And he just, walks away.
Oh boy, have I said something wrong again? Gonna have to talk that out later. This is gonna sound like I'm trying to make excuses or try to make myself sound like a hero, but the atrocities that they committed, that was not the reunion which I encountered. The reunion I encountered was filled with people like Sarka's warriors who had left Castel because they didn't want to be a part of the Game of Thrones that's being played there. Amazing people who were fighting there because they loved the people around them and wanted to do good. Yeah, but that's essentially it. What has happened has happened. It can't be reversed.
Semblance walks over to him and puts her hand on his shoulder. I'm sorry you had to go through all of that. Thank you for telling us.
I think it was a good idea. Coming clean, talking about who we are, who we were. Thank you for making that decision.
As far as reunion goes, the road to hell is often paved with good intentions.
Yeah, I realize that's the thing that makes me the happiest and essentially gives me my self-fulfillment and a purpose in life is seeing the people around me having a smile on their faces. Yeah, at that, Herbert just gets up and goes sit down on the floor again.
Semblance is going to look around. Who wants to be next?
I think it should be you.
I kind of thought as much, honestly. The biggest part about my story is not going to be as long, but I simply wanted to be someone who helps people. I joined the academy and did my training. Eventually, through advances in science, me and a few others points to her sword that she left in the corner of the room. Use these weapons, and not everybody syncs really well with the thing in those weapons. Those arts you've been seeing me use, it's not mine. All comes from that. The things you hear, the voices, it's not good. We were tested on, used as soldiers. It was when my hands were stained with blood that I started to realize this wasn't what I wanted. And so I ran away from it. That's why I didn't want to come back here in the first place. But after seeing that I could help Fury in some way, I feel better about helping everyone else. When I say my sister, unlike me, she didn't get along with these weapons too well.
When you think back about the time when you left your family, what do you feel?
I feel like I wish I had the proper chance to learn everything about them.
Are you going to one day see them again and trying to get the answers you hope to see?
I thought that one day I could, but if I'm going to be honest with you, if I couldn't get through to them when I did meet them again, that's why I kept the Elysium. It was so that I could make sure they'd never have to.
I have one more question. Are you aware of who's gonna stand by your side when you're gonna go on the journey?
I've been trying to push you guys out of it, but you're still here, right? So
yeah,
I know
you're doing a pretty shitty job at that, so you're gonna have to bear with us. I don't know about the rest here.
I did always want to be a hero growing up, so if they're the last people I can save, then that's all I can ask for.
Do you regret it? Leaving your family, I mean. Do you regret it?
I know I should say yes, but I don't think I could have helped them from inside.
I think you made the right decision. I don't think there is any shame in running away.
Thank you.
So?
She's gonna stand up, and she steps away from the chair in the middle.
Who wants to go next if no questions are left? I think Kyra should go next.
You want me?
Yeah, of course. Everybody has to take a turn.
Fine. Kyra is gonna walk to the chair. Alright. I live a normal life, I guess. I have a couple of friends. I became a bartender, then work at the logistic place.
Pretty good with a gun for a bartender.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
I don't want to-
gotta have like self-defense.
I don't want to like fill into stereotypes, but isn't that normal for angels?
Echo remembers Hydra entering Giga mode while flying with flaming wings, shooting guns like he's a fucking biblically accurate angel. Looks over at Albert. Isn't that normal?
How many drinks are we gonna have to give you to get the whole story out of you?
Okay, Kyra, this is supposed to be the moment where we all open up to each other so that we can see ourselves in a different light. In the true light, that is.
I don't need you to see me in true light. I'm a bartender, that's all. I'm just here to work.
So be it. Does anybody have any questions for Kyra?
I have one.
Go on.
What's your future?
Is this group of people right here a part of that future?
Like I said, I'm never a futurist type.
That's a sad answer.
I'm sorry, but I'm just not. I'm not. I don't really look at the future. I just live by the moment.
Yeah, it does
No,
upset
okay.
me. And you're not sorry. Nah, Kyra, I don't know what's so funny about that. Like, just minutes ago, Echo was risking his own life and going against his own principles and morals in order to knock you out of Elysium State and essentially save your life. And you don't even try to find an answer for a question like that? If asked for it?
Fine. Okay, let's go. So, where do we start? You can't really expect me to like remember like 20 years ago or something.
Let's test that. Who taught you how to read and write?
I remember learning it myself. It's really blurry.
Same for me. I just remember
Let's-
sitting there and reading tutorials on how to use arts when I was 4 years old. Don't remember who taught
They
me.
have that. Damn.
Oh,
I-
I feel really bad.
I should have used that. I could have saved like multiple peoples from burning.
Say what? It wasn't really a manual. It was a book that was given to me, but it was a story about how the ancient Sarkas kings used to summon massive shields in order to protect the people they cared for. And I read that, and I then, for some reason, just was able to cast it. I was a little child back then. I used to do that whenever bullies would come and try to beat me up and steal food from me.
Why do you kill people? Was it just for money? Not judging you, just curious.
You could say survival, money.
It's a story I've seen in the past.
Hmm.
If you could go back and change the way that you did things, would you?
Yes, I would. A lot of things. I lived in the streets for the first few years. I met Sun at the street with like horns. They taught me like most of things. They taught me how to read, taught me how to write, taught me how to kill, and told me to. He was the only one that had any education, funnily enough.
What was he like to you? Was he like a brother?
You could say that, yeah. We are like a family. Cause like, at the end of the day, you only got yourself. You gotta look out for each other, basically.
If you and Sun were so close, well, and Horn, after what happened with her, why were you and him apart, separate?
Blame, regret, you could say. Me blaming him for the job we botched. Me blaming myself for the things I did. Sinking more into like addiction to alcohol or something.
I get that.
Oh, by the way, it seems we're getting box rated. So, hey, hold up,
If you see this, If you see this, you are one of the few Arknights YouTubers who are actually funny. I love you.
Echo, who is again Spike Spiegel in a lab coat, so he slowly gets up, and even though he said that he wouldn't, he walks over and gets his flask back, like his alcoholic flask back from Hydra, and then like nods to him as if he wants to sit down to the chair.
Actually, Echo, Herbert shows like a slight smile in his face because he's like, okay, Echo is finally gonna open up. It's gonna be wonderful.
Don't get too excited there, buddy. I'm just here to share my part in this pity party. As he like looks over towards the smiling Albert. Hey there, guys. I guess I should treat this like a AAA meeting or AA meeting, whatever it's called. And he takes a sip of the alcohol from his flask. I'm Echo. I've gone by a lot of different names, but Echo is the main one. I'm a scientist and/or doctor, really, and I've worked my whole entire life trying to save people in any way that I can. I tried to save them as an actual doctor on the streets. I tried to save them by doing research into medicine. And the research into medicine is why I'm here today. Me and an old colleague of mine, that I'm sure that you all know by the name of Aleph, worked for years on a super drug that was supposed to cure erypathy. It was supposed to enhance everyone's natural healing factors, enhance who they are as people. We called it Elysium. And that drug turned out to cause people to go insane. When we started to realize the side effects of Elysium, we had disagreements. A lot of the people in the lab left. I stayed with them, trying my best to curb the side effects. And when I realized that they could not be stopped, I tried to shut it down, and then I left Aleph. I wandered from there. I wandered to many different cities, trying to save people the same way that I had before I started the Elysium project. I am the one that created it, and I can't take that back. We tried to make something great. We tried to cure erypathy. We tried to save thousands of lives, and look where it got us. I should have never stopped being just a normal doctor. Because in the pursuit of trying to cure and save everyone, I have done nothing but kill thousands.
You might have doomed or killed thousands, but at the end of the day, it was your work, which, at least to a certain degree, is the reason for why I am still alive. So, thank you.
He doesn't want to like be emotionally impacted very much. Like he tries to have like the stone cold face, like this doesn't affect me. But then like he's like starts to smile a little bit, and then like a couple of tears start to fall from his eyes. He doesn't say anything to you, Albert, but he just nods to you. There are more nuances to the story, I guess, but that's the gist of it. That's what's important, at least. I'm a doctor that aimed too far up into the sky. That's all.
That was your past. But where do you see your future? Do you think that what has happened to you in the past should have an impact on the rest of your life?
That's the thing. Apparently, with recent information that we've just found out, my old science partner has actually managed to perfect Elysium. If Aleph was right, and Elysium is the future and is the cure that we've been searching for, then what have I been doing my whole life?
That realization that everything you might have done until now might have been under the false assumption that you have doomed thousands. Where does it lead you? Is it going to lead you into a pit of despair?
Fresh. You've noticed I have a tendency to, as a healer, put myself on the front lines. And that's because I have a very self-deprecating view of myself. I honestly don't really care if one day a truck came and hit me.
Does it mean anything to you that there are other people who would very much care about you? And if that happened?
There are, and that's why I'm not actively seeking out death. I also know that it's the easy way out. I know that the much harder path is the one to redemption, where I try to save as many people as possible, but that just ends up spiraling into the problems that I had before.
Is redemption really what you need? Or is it just a new start?
How can you just start over after everything that I've done? I created a super drug that drives people insane.
I've had a big new start. On the day that I lost everything, I completely started anew. Completely. Don't you think that this moment that you are in right now, where you are not sure whether Aleph actually managed to create perfection or not, shouldn't you treat this as an opportunity to stop being what you were and start anew? I never met Echo, the scientist who helped to create Elysium. I just met Echo.
You may think it's impossible to start over, or that the past weighs down too much and you can never make up for it, but that sword that I use, it's hurt more people than I would like to even think about. But it's also protected people since then.
You can't let possible guilt for what happened in the past drive you forever. No, Echo. I think you can start anew, but it has to be you who makes that decision.
If I was so smart, I wouldn't have committed war crimes.
Hey, I mean, who in this room hasn't at this point? Haha.
Well, unless there's any other questions, I guess that's it.
How are you going to decide? Are you going to continue being the miserable self, not knowing what to do with your life, seeking redemption? Or are you going to start anew? As Echo, one of the CEOs of Eden Logistics.
It's not that easy, Herbert. I can't just stop being sad.
Right. If it's not that easy, then let's take the long road. Let's make it a process. Not a big step, but a long process. Starting from today. And we're all going to be here to support you.
I'll think about it.
Thank you, Echo. That means a lot.
And he looks around to the room one more time. Any other questions?
Jennifer raises her hand again.
Yes.
Right, so I mean, I don't mean to be insensitive here. Does look like we're gonna have to face this Aleph guy sooner or later. So, how's he like? I mean, after yesterday, not gonna lie, don't really...
On one hand, he's doing everything that he thinks is right, because he truly does think that this is the way to save everyone. And on the other hand, he's fucking cracked in the head. I'm sure that with all the people you guys have killed, one more won't be any problem. Oh, and he goes to stand up from the chair looking around at this room of murderers.
Okay, Semblance looks over to Katse, I guess.
Ooh.
Okay, for the first time, Katse stops looking at the ceiling and takes a deep breath. She slowly starts walking to the chair of shame. Wait, let me switch the scene.
Don't call it that.
So, she sits down, and a short moment of silence. She's not saying anything. And then... I don't have to hang around with you anymore. Healing up neuropathy? Curing the sick? Why should I even try to look for a solution anymore? I'm not infected anymore. I have no point. There is no reason. My time with you, with dirty peasants, is finally over. I am done with you all. I'm never gonna talk to you ever again. We are freaking done. Fuck you all. And she's using her flash spit. Someone might see it, but there's one tear slowly going down her eye. And she's using her flash spit to leave the room as quickly as possible.
Cal kinda tilts his head and looks to the others. What? What?
What the fuck just happened? Enzi,
Also-
where are you?
Also,
I
what does
guess
he
everyone-
talk about being like not infected anymore? What does she mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't cure the neuropathy. I destroyed her body at a molecular level and then rebuilt it from nothing. It's the alteration of matter.
I think I kinda get it.
If I were to try that again, there's a high likelihood, as there was when I did it to Katse, that her body is altered in a way that can never be changed. It's even possible that what Katse's personality shifts are undergoing is a side effect of me remaking her brain from nothing. I don't know. I don't know what the side effects of such a thing are. No one does. It's never been done before.
Oh. Kakada like looks down.
The Katse that we see or is with us now is an entirely new person.
It's like if you take
Fuck.
apart a ship, plank by plank, and you build a new ship. Is it the same ship or a different ship?
Well, less like that and more like if we strapped dynamite to every inch of the ship, blew it up, and then built a whole entire new ship.
So what are we gonna do now?
Losing somebody.
And I think Katse has a lot of things on her mind right now.
We can have Spike try to keep an eye out on her if he can find her anywhere, but we'll leave her. Just
I don't know whether
that
Spike will
speed-
still talk to us.
With that speed, I'm not even sure she's still here.
It
Just
is
still, like,
possible, by the way, that she does just leave. So if anyone wants to say goodbye to her, you should probably do that. I've said all I wanted to say. And he again, like, he goes to drink from his flask but sees that it's empty. He, like, frowns a little bit and then puts it back inside of his lab coat.
Would I hear the
No.
goodbye? Like
She
if I
can't
already
just leave.
And unless you have like the CEO group chat open and we're like on a call, we'll see her again. I think so.
Echo goes to stand up. Like he's like, well, I guess that's done, and he goes to walk out.
Echo, back during your time with Aleph, how long ago was it? Was Katse already there?
I've never seen Katse once before. Heard of her, but I don't think that he cared too much about her, honestly. So Echo goes to slip out. Is that so? You guys just chilling in there?
Any heads up about where you're going?
Nope.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm glad we've made so much development.
Roll me like perception, I guess. No, investigation.
I can
Echo,
do
to
that.
even see if you can, like, you know.
You think Echo's gonna ask for help even after opening up and get dated on, idiot? Oh,
Oh shit.
Oh my lord!
Well,
See!
suppose that the dice don't lie. So, yo,
Was
Katse,
Obama
where
just
are you
leave?
right now?
I just been trying to go in one direction as far as I can to get as far away from them as possible.
Like, where? for how long are you running?
For how long I
are you
can.
running? Yes.
Because remember, you don't really have your arts now, so
Yeah.
it's like.
I'm just trying to run. I don't want to do anything with them right now.
You know, for someone who doesn't want to help people anymore and said she should be alone, I think he's going after her.
You know what? You're right. I think we actually made some progress today.
Alright, you know what?
Not you,
Katse,
it's just following
eventually you do
Katse.
have to stop. You know, eventually you do have to, you know,
You know
catch
what?
your
I'll
breath.
buy a
I-
local
yeah.
tree.
I'm stopping at a grocery store so I can buy food and water so I can leave the town as fast as possible.
I see.
Oh, not this song, Dio.
Well, I suppose that's where you find her, Echo.
Assumingly, you're just like running and walking, but eventually trying to catch your breath. And when you do, I don't even know if you notice him sneak up on you, but eventually, about like 20 feet behind you, the old drunkard in the lab coat shows up behind you. Hey,
Hey.
Why did you catch up to me?
just wanted to
Because I was
say
faster.
one last thing. Sorry about your dad. I tried to keep him on the right path, but Aleph just wouldn't listen, and I know that we've had our differences because you thought that he was right. You thought that he was going to change the world. I don't hate you, in case you ever thought that I did.
Echo, I know you're smart enough and I know that you know what I'm trying to do. But
Yeah,
you were right with
I
everything.
know.
You were absolutely right with everything. I was wrong. I just need to get away.
That's my curse, I guess. I'm always right. And he like smiles to you, but like you could tell that like he's sad.
Yeah. By the way, you see Katse like absolutely teared up, like she can't hold her tears. She's crying like crazy. Don't tell them, but I want you at least to know that I love you guys. You really meant a lot to me.
I believe in you. And he reaches way far into one of the pockets of the inside of his lab coat, And he pulls out a small covered vial and tosses it over to Katse.
What is that?
It's a old version of Elysium. If there's someone in this world that can actually make it right, it's not me or your father. It'd be you.
Well, I have way too many questions about this, but I'm not feeling asking you right now for that. I just want to leave. I'm sorry. But thank you for catching up to me.
See you around, you spoiled rich princess.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Bye. And Katse sprints further, goes further, and doesn't look back. But you still see like teardrops just falling down the floor while she's running away.
Yeah, and Echo stands there in the wasteland watching her run away.
And I think with that, we're gonna end today's session.
Matt.
Man.
Matt.
She's not coming back, is she, Herbert?
They've been gone for a pretty long time at this point.
I think they probably got lost.
We need a beach episode after this.